Hi friends. Cases are down enough in New York right now that last week I was able to go see a show and see Tao Win, who's been one of my favorite artists since my freshman year in college. When a friend's boyfriend who had recommended that we purchase the $10 ticket said, "I think she's supposed to be really good at guitar." There was something I saw on stage that night and many other times over the following 12 years, which is that yes, she shreds, and also she isn't afraid to go on stage and make ugly faces and get kind of feral and ferocious. Each album she's released gives over more to a wildness far too big for that 500 capacity venue to contain. I've always thought that she's so brilliant, so underrated, and I've been putting her lyrics on my creative mood boards since like 2009. Like anything that you like about my work that has a tender belly but sharp teeth, that's just me trying to write something that feels like music like Tao's feels inside of me. And maybe it's because she's uncompromising in that fierceness that I wasn't watching her in a bigger hall, you know? I thought of another one of my writing touchstones, music journalist Jessica Hopper, whose book I keep on my desk like a criticism Bible. Those of you in the Radish Collective have seen my copy annotated and highlighted on my Patreon page. She interviewed Ian McKay of Fugazi about creating under the radar, as she herself felt around for a foothold in the field of music criticism. And he told her that by doing your good work, sticking to your principles, the people who are looking for you will dig until they find it. Maybe that's cold comfort for someone trying to scrape together a living as a writer, or pay rent off of concert ticket sales, or for an emerging creator who's been emerging for the past 10 years. But when Jessica Hopper sought out advice from her professional peers who had hit the mainstream, who had the bylines and columns and masthead placement she aspired to, their advice was the opposite. It was to be less of herself. She writes that they didn't want to help me. They just wanted me to want what they had. They wanted me to align with their values, mirror them. But why would I? What they did with their power was boring. I remember sitting in an expo hall at VidCon in like 2018, 2019 with a friend and fellow creator, and we were lamenting at how weird the experience was, how stratified the green rooms and happy hours and every part of the experience felt by the number that showed up under your name. I complained that I hated how, because I have a tiny and wonderful audience, I don't do well in those kinds of places. She shrugged and turned to me and said, "I don't want to be the kind of person who does well here." It was the first time that I understood that my problem, the fact that I felt overlooked as a writer and creator, wasn't because the culture or the algorithm hadn't changed in order to embrace me. It's that I hadn't changed to fit what was currently being embraced. And with some exceptions, there are people I respect deeply who make very beloved things on this website. That's usually just not what I want to make anyway. These women whose work I love and look up to, it's not in spite of their fringe outsideriness. It's because of it. They took all the things that I see in myself and don't always like about me. Stubbornness and contrarianism, being dogged and unwilling to shut up and be nice or put on a prettier face. They made that their power. And what they do with their power may not always be popular, but it is certainly never boring. I don't think it's wrong to want to reach people, to say something that will be heard, to write something that someone will care about, will carry around in their heart for a decade. But when I write for growth or attention or acclaim for its own sake, I know that I'm not getting there. I should be so lucky to have a career like theirs, to make art that some of you will dig until you find it, because that too is power. And I hope to use it to do interesting things. In the comments, tell me about some of your most underrated faves so that the rest of us can dig into them. I'll see you soon. Bye!